we have to make sure that we are focused on developing an aspirational achievement for ourselves before we try to go out and sell people on what we can help them accomplish. We are our greatest testimonials. We are a walking testimonial, and we really need to abide by this, physician heal thyself, right? Hey, Courtney Sanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and I do all the things. And today I want to talk about the one thing that you can't get around when it comes to building your brand online. This is so important, especially for my coaches, my consultants, my trainers, anybody who's creating products, trainings where they're really trying to share their wisdom and turn it into wealth. This is something that you can't get around because I see a lot of people trying to skirt this through certifications. And by the way, I have nothing against coaching certifications. In fact, I'm actually working on creating my own, which I've talked about in my video all about my goals for 2023, which you can check out here. But even though you may have a coaching certification, there is still something that you can't get around when it comes to building your brand and actually attracting clients. And so if you want to know what that one thing is, stay tuned because we're going to get into it right now. All right, the one thing that I feel like I have to talk about until we're blue in the face, and it's really fitting based on where we are in the year. As I'm recording this is at the beginning of the year, and so this is something that a lot of people are thinking about. And that one thing that you can't get around, even if you have the education, even if you have a certification, even if you know what you're talking about, is an aspirational achievement. So many people do not understand how online branding works, how social media, how marketing, all of this works. You can have all the head knowledge in the world, but if that does not translate into hand knowledge, meaning something you have actually achieved, and it's something that the target market that you are seeking to create a brand for also wants to achieve, if you don't have that, it's gonna be very, very difficult for you to attract clients. Now, I say this, and a lot of people get down on themselves because they think having an aspirational achievement has to be something crazy, like you started a multi-million-dollar business, or I don't know, you drive a Maserati or something ridiculous, or you went to the moon, or like some big achievement. You don't have to be an Olympian or, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, nothing like that. But there has to be some achievement in your story that the people that you ultimately want to serve, want to build a brand around, and that you ultimately want to purchase your products, it's gotta be something that they would aspire to. And so I always talk about my story. I got started fresh out of college on accident building this brand. I was just blogging about personal development and self-discipline and growth after I had actually lost my college scholarship. I had a full ride engineering scholarship, and so I lost it because I got inspired to do entrepreneurship, and I tried to start a business. It was a hair care business at the time, and I quit going to class, which is a terrible idea. You definitely should go to class if you are an engineering major, but I didn't, and so by no surprise, my grades plummeted, and I ended up losing the scholarship that I had that was associated with that. And so in my quest to get my scholarship back and get my finances together and still be successful in entrepreneurship and all these different things, I started blogging about my journey to be more self-disciplined and be better with my time management and all of those things. Now, when I was blogging about it, I wasn't blogging from the standpoint of, oh, I'm an expert and I read this in a book and so this is what you should do. I was actually blogging about it from a documentation standpoint, meaning I read this in a book or I heard this somewhere, I'm gonna try it out on myself, and then I'm gonna let you guys, i.e. my readers, know how it worked out. And so I did that over the course of about a year or two, and by doing that, my life started to change. I ended up getting another scholarship in school, I ended up paying off a lot of credit card debt, I was getting back in shape, I was growing this brand online, and people started to see the results. They were like, wow, you graduated from school, you had good grades, you got another scholarship, you got a good prestigious job after college. Like, we watched you when you were struggling with self-discipline. Can you help me too? Like, how is it that you did that? And so I share that as, again, I was like a 20-something. That was like the one aspirational achievement that I had, but I leveraged the heck out of it, right? That was all I needed in order to get into the coaching industry, even without a certification. And so I say this because I see people spending a lot of money, like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on coaching certifications. And I think coaching certifications are totally fine. Again, like I said, for one of my goals for 2023 is actually to work on my own coaching certification, but even for my coaching certification, you will not be allowed to take it unless you also take the business and marketing training aspect of it as well, because I don't want any coaches who are certified in my methodology who aren't able to also build a successful coaching business. And that's unfortunately more common than you would realize. A lot of people get these certifications and then they still don't know how to build a business. But oftentimes these certifications will make you feel like, as long as I know the methodology in order to coach someone, then it's going to be really easy to get clients. And while you might attract clients who essentially are just looking for hired help, it's like, oh, I know I struggle with whatever they struggle with, and they're just looking for a coach to kind of hold them accountable and get out of that season. Yeah, you might find clients who are looking for you in that way, but you're gonna find that it's very difficult to charge more than the standard $100 an hour, $150 an hour. In fact, I have a video here, which is all about the one thing you need to understand if you wanna raise your prices. And so you can check that out where it goes in depth about this. But in part, in order to do what I share in that video and also here in this video, is you need to make sure that you have some aspirational achievement. So if you do have a coaching certification, great, but make sure that you are marrying it with something that you have actually achieved yourself, and that is something that people aspire to. This is important as well because you get to look at your own story and the way that you've achieved things, and it will help you either craft a methodology if you don't have one, or if you are using, a certified coaching methodology, it helps you understand the mindset and the pain points and the struggle that clients might be going through as they endeavor on the same process that you've been through. Part of effective coaching is understanding the mindset challenges and the mindset blocks that someone might have. And while you can be very versed in that from a textbook standpoint, if you have not walked in those shoes and you have not achieved something that person is also looking to achieve, there's little pitfalls that you are going to be blind to because it's not something that you've actually been through. It's kind of like telling someone how to get somewhere simply by, giving them Google Maps. But if you haven't driven that road, you might not know about the shortcuts. You might not know about that big pothole that's in the middle of the lane. You might not know about the police officer that likes to sit at the top of the hill and write people tickets because you have not endeavored and journeyed down that path yourself. So I cannot stress it enough. If you're looking to build a brand online, it's really important that you make sure that you have an aspirational achievement yourself. Now, because I know that this is a big thing, I am actually working on a reboot of one of my best-selling programs. This was actually the program that put me on the map. It's called No Excuses Woman. It was my flagship self-discipline program when I first got started in online coaching. I am rebooting it, adding all new content, especially because when I created it back then, I was, a young woman. I wasn't even married. I didn't have kids. I've learned so much more now that I'm a, married mom of two and running a business with employees, not just about self-discipline, but I've learned so much more about time management and mainly about goal setting and goal achievement. And so I'm really excited that this reboot of this program is coming out. We're even working on a planner to go with it. And so if that's something that you want to be a part of, you can click the link below in order to join the interest list. And as soon as all the details are available, you will be the first person to know about it. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and click the link below in order to get on the interest list. But I'm doing this because this is so important. We have to make sure that we are focused on developing an aspirational achievement for ourselves before we try to go out and sell people on what we can help them accomplish, because we are our greatest testimonials. We are a walking testimonial, and we really need to abide by this, physician heal thyself, right? So it's one thing to say, oh, I, know this methodology and it's going to help you get great results. Well, if that's the case, maybe spend the first 30, 60, 90 days of your coaching career getting those great results for yourself, and you'll find that it's way easier for you to get clients in the future and way easier for you to be able to sell people on what it is that you have to offer. So that's the one thing you can't get around when you're building a brand online. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you did, don't forget to sign up for that interest list. You can click the link below in order to do that. Also, if you want even more, make sure that you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next YouTube episode or my next podcast episode, make sure that you are also following me on Instagram, CourtneyLSanders, where I show the behind the scenes of my life as well as other gems and musings and different things that I'm thinking of. So with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.